So I'm guessing you're here because you want to build an underbutt so big that when you're walking, it's literally jiggling, okay? You want to build basically, like we say at home, a panettone, even if it's not Christmas, but we start baking it earlier. If you want to build the lower region of your glutes, you have to do specific exercise that will target this area. Ta-da, of course. But why is it so important? Because it will lift your glutes. It will literally give you the automatically lifted look that, first of all, will make your glutes pop out in your other clothes as well. And this is what I help my clients with as well. I'll put some pictures of some of my clients that transform. And if you want me to transform you, by the way, one-on-one and create the perfect plan for you, link in the description below. A lot of people ditch and offend the Smith machine, poor thing. Actually, it's a great exercise, especially when you don't have a lot of balance and you want to focus a little bit more on your glutes. If you're focusing on an exercise and trying to keep balance the whole time, then you will not be able to focus as much on your glutes because you'll be worried the whole time about trying to lose balance. So the Smith machine a lot of times provides that stability so that you can actually focus so much more on your glutes. Also, it's a great alternative for many exercises for beginners as well. But we're going to be having the Smith machine and we're going to be doing a great exercise for the lower region of our glutes, but also the targets. You see this like deep line over here that I've got in my back. Basically, I'm bringing sexy back, like Justin Timberlake as well will be looking at us, okay, building this. So this is why a great exercise, strengthening our lower back and our lower region of our glutes. Perfetto, mamma mia, bellissimo. We'll be going under the bar, okay? First, I have no weight because I'm demonstrating the exercise, okay, and I'm talking, of course. So your people think, why is he not wearing any weight? Is you not using any weight? I mean, I'm talking to the camera. I'm doing like this with the hands. I'm demonstrating an exercise. Do you think I'm going to actually be able to do a heavy set and talking to you at the same time? Why don't you try? Honestly. Anyway, let me just show you. So I like to stand when my heels are, okay, over here. You might need to readjust yourself, okay, and play a little bit with your stance depending on your height and your comfortable position. And now what we're going to be doing, this is a hinge movement. Do we remember what a hinge movement is from my previous tutorials, for example, about the RDLs? We're doing exactly the same, starting the movement by pushing our hips back. Okay, but what happens when let's see if you remember from my previous tutorials, what happens when you push your hips back, okay, keep your, obviously, back straight and descend down with your legs straight. Where are you going to feel it? Why don't you try with me right now? You don't have to have at the gym, just stand up. We practice this movement of hip hinging. So it's like almost like you push your hips back, okay? This is how it starts the movement. Keep your legs straight and descend down, 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 down. Oh, where are you starting to feel the stretch? Over here, to your hamstrings, right? Is that what you did? Where do we want to feel this exercise? Inside in our lovely bunda. To counteract this, we have to bend our knees because that way our legs is not going to be straight anymore. So I also like to do, personally, preferably for me, this is what works for me. I like to take a really wide stance, okay? And when I descend down, I really bend at my knees, almost like I'm getting almost into a squat. The beginning of a squat, if you will, but not just a squat. Let's not start confusing things. So, knees out. You want to keep your knees out all the time. Remember not to let your knees cave in when you do this, otherwise it means that you're pushing your body forward. Instead, we want to push our body backwards. We get under the bar. You can do this exercise with dumbbells at the squat rack or whatever you like. I just prefer the Smith machine because it's its wider stance. I like my feet slightly rotated because they work for me, okay? If you actually prefer taking a narrower stance, try it out and see again what works more for you and what you feel more and better in your glutes. So we put the bar not in our neck because otherwise we don't want to end up in the hospital here, okay? We want to make some bunda gains. So we put it instead our lovely traps, okay? Like so. You see where I'm putting, I'm not putting it here, I'm putting it here. We start the exercise by, remember, pushing our hips backwards and looking down with our neck basically starting to look down as we descend forward. We're not looking at our gym crush, okay? Focus on you for now. Okay, look down, mind your business. And now as I descend, I keep bending my legs more and more and more, okay, until I get a big stretch here on my lower glutes, because that's the purpose of the exercise, and then return up. Doesn't matter whether we squeeze at the top or not. You can squeeze if you want, but it doesn't basically do anything because the peak of the movement is actually when we go backwards rather than when we're already here. Because we're already here, what's happening? Anything is happening. We're not working against gravity, nothing is happening. So you adding a squeeze when you're actually already in a stand-up position is basically pointless, okay? And also, if you squeeze too much, a lot of people tend to do this and start to overextend their spine over here. Try to keep it stable instead the whole time. I personally, when I do this exercise to avoid any lower back engagement, I don't squeeze at all. I actually don't even need to come back all the way up. But let's look at me at doing this exercise now from this side. So let's have a little look from this side so you can see exactly what I'm doing. And let me get my hair out of the way and let's look at this movement, okay? Again, I start by placing the barbell on top of my traps, hands on the rough part of the bar, I lift. And when we use the Smith machine, if you're a complete beginner and you don't know how to use it, there's these lovely hooks over here that we need to tilt and rotate backwards all the time. Because if I don't do this, these will get stuck on the dent over here. So we always have to remember to slightly rotate our hands so we keep the barbell in place the whole time. So we work out whatever stance we want to go for. We push our hips back. Actually, I like to put my barbell really low. Okay? So low down on my traps, look down, bend my knees. And this is how back I go. I don't actually stand up. I actually don't need to because for me it's kind of pointless. Okay, so I go all the way down. The main thing is I get a good stretch of my glutes and then I come back. Now, in terms of how low we go, I want you to listen to your body. Why? Because if we go too low, what's happening here? I'm starting to round my back, and you can also film yourself if you feel like you want to watch your form. And otherwise, if your lower back hurts, it means that you're going a little bit too far down. So that's the first sign to see whether you're going too low. We want to go low so that we stretch our glutes, but not too low when we start rounding our back. Can we see the difference over here? So again, you see how much I bend on my knees, and then I come back, and again, bend down on my knees, achieve that nice stretch with my glutes, and then come back up. I always recommend when you try a new exercise to always start with no weight, or just try and add as little weight as possible so that you can actually focus on the form instead. Very important. And Fania, if you're worried about whether you're doing an exercise right or wrong, whether you need correction or whether someone needs to tell you what you're doing, I do this with my one-to-one clients online. They send me videos to myself and we tell them exactly what they're doing wrong. We tell them how to readjust yourself. We give pointers literally throughout the entire program. So you're never there on your own when someone gives you a program and you'll see you later, see how you get on. If you get on, you can get on. If you don't get on, you can get on. So for this, link in bio. Okay, so on to our next exercise. We're going to be exploring squats, but not the normal squats that you're used to with a twist. They're going to be slightly different. Let's start from the basics. There is two types of squats. There is the high bar squat and the low bar squat. Let me explain the main differences and why it's key when trying to grow and target more your glutes. Okay, so with the high bar squat, and this is the most common one that most people tend to do, they put the bar higher, okay, on the traps. So over here, and also the position that you stay normally, okay, these are very generic too, because then there are so many things that play into things. But the generic thing is you keep your chest up and you try to keep your chest upright. So you try to squat as upright as possible, like so. Clear. Second type of squat is called the low bar squat. Okay. Low bar, how the word says, we're putting the bar lower on our traps like I did before. I showed you before when I was doing the good mornings. I said, wait, let me just position the bar. I actually put it a little bit lower, do you remember? Because that will help you automatically target your glutes more. With this, the low bar, instead, you want to lean more forward. We lean more forward with the low bar, and we go nice and deep. So what are the main difference in terms of joints now? So when we're talking about the high bar squat, if you want to do the high bar squat, there will be slightly more hip dominant, whereas with your low bar, it will be slightly more lower back dominant as well, automatically, just by bending, obviously, lower, okay? So let's put everything into practice. So what we said before, we have our lovely barbell, high bar that I said you before, and a lot of people tend to do that as well. We're putting it here. You see, just at the top of their traps. So when they do the squat, they will keep more upright and sinking down. The problem with this is that when people go lower, they risk butt winking a lot more. Also, this is a lot more quad dominant as well. We want to target our glutes more instead, where we're going to put our bar, low bar. It means just at the bottom of our traps as well. However, automatically, if we put the bar lower, can we stand upright? Automatically, no, because it would be so much harder. So what do we have to do instead? To lean forward straight away. So it's easier to keep balance. And again, we'll be squatting. See the difference? How I'm squatting more by leaning more forward, like so. And this is also more glute dominance. A lot of people struggle with RDLs and step-ups. And there is an exercise that does literally exactly the same in terms of stretching the muscles in the same way, but it's so much easier for beginners as well. And this is the leg press. However, we're going to do it again with a twist. First of all, I'm going to lower the bench that is at the lowest point. Then another thing, remember, if we want to target the lower area of our glutes, we want to make sure that we work on the stretching of our glutes, okay? So what's the maximum stretching point that we achieve when we are at the leg press? We actually go all the way down, so knees close to our chest. This variation, one leg at a time, okay? I like to also target and get a wider stance, so instead of putting the foot here, I like to put it here, a little bit wider. It just works better with my genetics as well. Releasing, knee close, big stretch, close. And then remember, when you come up, never completely use momentum with this, otherwise you can hurt your knee. So I like to avoid this by just keeping your leg bent. And again, doing one leg at a time, stretching, really sinking your body into the seat, and then push again. Same thing with the other foot. Sink your body in by using those handles and get close to it, and then push again. Anyway, familia, these are the main exercises that I do. There is so many different variations as well of every single one. Just focus on stretching your muscles. That is the main thing. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, familia, if you want me to actually help you and build the bunda of your dreams, link in the description. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and see you next time with another video.